for SGH Ventures is a student organization from Warsaw School of Economics, and we are trying to, give content to any kind of student entrepreneurs out there, whether or not you're in Poland, whether or not you're in other parts of the world. So that's who we are, and this series is for you to get more information about how to start a business, which was a webinar that we did in October. And for this one, it is tips and tricks on how to create the perfect business plan. So today we have with us three very, very amazing speakers. First and foremost, I would like to introduce Maciej. Maciej, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Unmute yourself.
Oh yeah. Hey guys. So my name is Maciej Prostak. I'm entrepreneur. I co-founded SmartHotel. This is the company that allows guests to have the contactless communication with hotels around the world. And actually, we founded last year, but it seems like we found it in a really good time, because we are perfect match after the COVID to post-COVID for the hotels to communicate with their guests, and also to online and remote check-in for the hotels guests. So this is me, and I have 14 years of experience in business, and we're doing SmartHotel internationally. So hello everybody.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Maciej. And next we have Dr. Anna. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Yep. Hello, guys. My name is Anna Masłoń, and currently I'm assistant professor at Warsaw School of Economics. But before that experience, I've been actually in business and on business side, and I've been entrepreneur for the last 15 years. I've created a few businesses, first in e-commerce industry. Second was the advisory company that I was operating for many years. And I also been one part of the co-founder of very adventurous runs. I'm pretty sure that you know that brand, Runmageddon. It's for the tough people. So I was the first who co-founded this company. With two other guys, and actually right now I'm sharing my experience in not only in Europe but also in many African countries and in Asia, especially in China, actually how to do the business across the continents. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Simon. I'm a managing partner and a co-founder of a venture capital fund called 303 VC. Our investment focus is related to MarTech and software companies, and we seek for innovation in early stage startups.
All right, thank you so much. And as you can see, we have really, really good speakers in our webinar today. So please, if you have any questions, directing to any of our speakers here with us, do drop, a question in the comments when you're watching on Facebook Live, and we will direct to them. So please have your questions as well as, who is directed to, if possible. Thank you so much. And to start the ball rolling, my first question, which is also a controversial one, would be any of our speakers. How important is the business plan when an investor is deciding to invest in a startup? So in other words, do investors read the business plan? Yes, Maciej?
Yes, I can say a few words from my perspective, from my practice. Actually, I used to say that to paraphrase my saying that idea for the business is worth only 1 zloty, but execution is everything. So this is almost the same, paraphrasing this phrase with the business plan. So business plan is something that you can attract investors to attract with your idea, with how you see your business, how you follow your thoughts, and basically, also from my perspective, business plan helped me to understand everything what I want to do with my business. So first things first, you need to create it for yourself. Then you're creating it for investors. But basically, if you create the best business plan ever, and I don't think there exists, but there are many examples of one of the best practices, and you will not follow with the knowledge with how to explain your thoughts behind this business plan, you're being into this business, and your numbers, your thinking, you're fully being into this business plan is nothing. So this is my really simple answer from the practice side on this.
I would add to that, if I may, that I would agree with Maciej that first of all, business plan, or I would say like the business case, we need to write it down for ourselves, but starting with our why. For investors that I think that they are looking for, apart from something that is written, as they need to understand in details, but sometimes they may think that we have these unintended consequences also, which can have like the positive or the negative consequences, that we even couldn't think of at the before. But if we have the passion and we start with our why, to cite Simon Sinek, that's, in my opinion, for any kind of investors, that's the best start that we can make. Obviously, when it comes to the numbers and when it comes to, okay, so what's the team behind? I'm always talking to the people who are my mentees. So where should I start? I have my idea. The second thing which I really recommend is think of the team. Who is behind it? It's not only you that's going to create it, and think beyond your age. Actually, you sometimes need to ask also some people from the other generation. Especially right now, if we are coming to the silver economy, you need to have someone from that generation to better understand their needs. It's not only the technology, yes? So business plan, yes, they're written, but we usually need to start with why. And if we have, like, for example, 3 minutes to attract investor, he will not ask you for the business plan if you are during, like the kind of the conferences, networking. He will ask, so tell me what your idea is. And you have these 3 minutes to explain. And after that, obviously, you're going to submit some kind of papers. But, for the first 3 minutes, there's no time to discuss in details your business plan. But you need to have it in your mind, obviously.
I think from the investor standpoint, we need to highlight that the time is a crucial factor. It may sound controversial, but I don't read business plans. I don't have time for it. And by that, I don't mean that business plans are worthless, but investors really don't need them because we have pitch decks. If you will compare pitch deck to a business plan, the vast majority of most important spheres, like go-to-market strategy, like financials, like the problem and the solutions, are already in there, but the difference is they are really written in a few words. So it means that you can go throughout the whole company in, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes. Imagine that we receive between 10 and 20 pitch decks daily. And some of them are from a new sector that you need to research, you need to explore, you need to check the competition. And if I would receive documents consisting of 40 pages, it's not something that is important to me at the time. But I agree with Maciej that business plan is important at the very beginning, because it's a way that will help you to answer all the fundamental questions regarding your business. So after that, you will know if you have covered all the important fields, and it's a good practice to start with such document. Of course, the whole form of it will be important, because I don't believe that writing a long document is relevant. The gist of it is most important, so you need to catch the substance. So if you would like to attract the investor, you can do it for your own purposes, but don't send a business plan to a VC. Pitch deck is the most appropriate form.
If I can just have a very quickly clarification, Szymon, from my perspective, business plan nowadays equals a pitch deck. So I haven't prepared business plan as you have mentioned, like in 30 pages, never in my life. I'm talking about pitch decks. So pitch decks, actually good prepared pitch deck with main areas like 12 pages with all the structure. I can give a structure later on, and helps yourself and helps VC to understand everything after those 12 pages. If you want to go deeper, you are going into P&Ls, you are going into some kind of competition dates that gives you more and more information and data. So maybe this is what you mean about a business plan, because we have a lot of students over here, so I don't want them to misunderstand all of our discussion. For me, business plan is a pitch deck. It's 12-pager, and actually with more important questions, and the source out of your P&L inside, financial section, market, product, team, and we can talk it over later. But this is what I mean by the business plan nowadays. It's pitch deck.
Okay, but I disagree to some extent, because in theory, those are two completely separate documents, because business plan is a much wider form of it. So if you will type business plan in your Google search, you will find a battery of different materials, how to produce them, and it's just something else. In terms of VC, I agree. It's just pitch deck. But if it comes to business as a whole, like the SMB sector or any other business, it's just a document that that has a completely different structure. So I think it is important to separate one from each other.
Or maybe I will add some balance to that discussion between
Maciej
and Simon. Like, totally agree with sorry?
Can we just land in the center between business plan and pitch deck?
That's what I want to do right now, as I know that many students are listening to us, and some of them are my students at my course, which is called actually business plan as well. So
here comes the theory. Yeah,
one guy saying do not do business plan, saying just do pitch deck. I'm just saying from my personal practice experience. I got 4 times I got pre-runs from the investment funds. I think I have some experience on this point. However, maybe I'm missing something, but okay, please go on.
Well, definitely, I think that the question that we may ask right now, how those business plans, changes over the years. Actually, that when I was a student, which was 20 years ago, business plans actually that we were taught at that time were actually 20 or 40 or 50 pages long, and no one actually were reading it. And to be honest, when I was starting my first business, which was 18 years ago, even if I was taught at that time that my business plan should be that length, I didn't prepare it. The only thing that I wanted to know at that time was, what's the market penetration, what's my competition, how much money do I need, what my team should be, and that's it. But obviously that was totally different, that I actually didn't ask for any money, okay? And that's what I also recommend my students, that when you start your first own business, ask first of all your parents or your family, your friends, and then just collect, some amount of money and then start. Instead of going to VCs, and that actually will probably would not understand sometimes what's the idea about. And to be honest, as Szymon said, that if you get like 20 different business plans or pitch decks, whatever, like 20 different documents every day, and you don't have time even to look at it very carefully, you may miss the perfect idea that someone put inside, or did it not in the way you would like to read it about it. Yeah. So sometimes when we think about writing and thinking about our pitch deck or business plan, whatever, we need to think about all those, I just remind you the case of Amazon at the beginning, what they did, what they actually predicted at the very beginning, that actually the whole book's gonna be sold out in United States. What was the truth? 75% was sold outside the United States, and they didn't predict it. Yeah, and we call it unintended consequences in this positive way, but they didn't predict what So what for? Even think. Of course, we can see the trends right now, especially right now is a great time, as you know, the crisis and pandemic. We know that new business is gonna actually start up, and this is the best, I would say, the best moment for all students to start and to think about your own businesses. Whatever you're gonna write the business plan or pitch deck, this is the right time, because everything's gonna change. Everything. We are not coming back to the times that we, as me or Maciej or Szymon, no. This is your time, your right time to start. Mm-hmm. Yes, Maciej.
May I just add last sentence? So basically, do you know who invested in Jeff Bezos on his early days? Who was the first investor? So I answer his parents. Basically, I'm pretty sure that he didn't prepare any pitch deck or business plan. But for the main investors later, I just got this knowledge because I wanted to tell my kid, he's 9 years old, who is the richest guy in the world and how he started. So basically, he didn't invest it in Amazon. He did invest it in Jeff Bezos. Mm-hmm. And this is the crucial thing. Sure. VCs always invest in people. Team, once again, team. Szymon should add a few things about it, but a bit later. But I think business plan is for you. Pitch deck is for VC, and your presence, and actually one pager of your idea of how you behave, how you present yourself as an entrepreneur, how you give everything from your side, from inside, like your flair of entrepreneur, will make this business great. This is the most important part, because they are investing in people. They didn't invest in Amazon. They invested in Jeff Bezos. This is the last sentence on this section. Sorry.
We have to remember that apart from Jeff Bezos, Joy Covey was also, the woman at that team. Okay, there were three of them at that time.
Women always behind. Women are always behind.
Don't forget about it. I've mentioned her, and you've mentioned him. and that's why we need the gender balance during discussions.
I totally agree. With you guys. So, thank you so much for your input. So now we see that there is this topic on whether or not business plan is very widely used by investors, but now we understand how is it really in reality. But more importantly is the gist, the idea that you can find in the pitch deck. That what is the business idea about? If you can have the essentials structured in the pitch deck, any form of business plan, like in Word document, can come later, right? When you need it, as long as you are clear with the idea, clear with the market, clear with your financials, those things can come later, whichever form it might take. So which brings me to my next question, which is, in terms of structure, right? Maciej, you kind of did some foreshadowing. In terms of structure, let's start with a pitch deck that ultimately translates to a business plan. But what goes into the pitch deck? What goes into that whole crunch, the 12 slides that you were mentioning, that is so important? If you could just elaborate.
Yeah,
yes.
So basically, I prepared a bit to this webinar because I found it is like from 2010. My first practitioner pitch deck I found it was made by Sequoia VC. It's one of the biggest and the most famous VC in the world, and actually they made this structure of the best pitch deck that you should create and send to the VC. And this was actually my first thing I got from internet. I found really, really useful when I was preparing my first pitch deck. It was actually not so great, but I'm studying with the same structure. So basically, if I have a few seconds, I will give you the scheme. First of all, there should be no more than 12 pages. It's 10, 12. It depends. Actually, I have also two different pitch decks from first pitch deck from Uber and Revolut. If any one of you that are listening to us, you would like to see those, just write me an email or just comment or anything. Just find me on Facebook, and I will send you this, because this is amazing. The first pitch deck from Revolut, first pitch deck from Uber, and this Sequoia, how to do a pitch deck. So basically 12 pages, 10, 12 pages. First and foremost, what is the problem? What is the problem that you are solving? So problem and solution. Why now? So why you create this idea? Why you would like to execute? The market size. What is the market size? So and also what type of the cake you will own out of this market size in what time? Then competition, then product, business model, team, and also team. One of the most important slide. You should put the whole effort to just show your investors how much you thought about any team members that you already have. If this is just two people on the start, let's just give the idea to investors that, for instance, you are good in business talks, in strategy, and how to create all the bricks on the beginning, but your business partner is amazing in technology, for instance. Just give this perspective for the VC, that he will find out and understand that you are a good fit and you are a good match, not just two good friends that are good in the same fields, and just thought on the one break on the SGH that they have this greatest idea ever. It doesn't work that way. And last and foremost, financials. So basically, problem, solution, why now, market size, competition, product, business model, how do you want to get money out of it, team, and financials. That's it. And if you're really keen to look into this Sequoia pitch deck example, I'm really pleased to send you those, or maybe I will also send you to the guys from SGH, and they will put it into the comment or something like that. I don't know, because actually this helps a lot. And every time when someone approached me like, oh man, you have a lot of experience, you full-time, you get successful with some investment round from BC, so basically you got some good success rate in it, how to create a business plan. And I'm always sending the same Sequoia demo pitch deck, and also giving those two examples of Uber first pitch deck, and actually one of my favorite, Revolut first pitch deck. We know everything. Everyone knows Revolut. It's pretty great to see how they approach the first pitch deck when they were no one, and we know right now they're amazing. They're huge, and how they approach their thinking, their business model, everything in those 10, 12 slides. And I'm always sending the same. And this is like my answer. And then when I coming back with just give me some tips or what to change or whatever, it's always the same mistake. They don't know how much money they want. Basically, I will give you one example. After the last webinar, there were a few people actually from the first webinar. They said, I'm really keen to help if I have a time. But you approached me, and with few of them, I had some conversation. But one person sent me quite a nice pitch deck. I don't know if you are here today, raise a hand. But you sent me a pitch deck, but didn't send any of your thoughts about financials. So what type of money you're looking for? You send me like 10 slides with everything, but without you're willing to, what you're willing to rise, and what's your valuation, what you're looking for. And it was actually crucial. Before this webinar, I found out that I need to respond to this person. Sorry, I forgot. Please remind me if I will not come back with any answer to you. But it would be even better if you send me this what I just mentioned. So this is all about it.
I would just briefly add to Maciej that this is something that's really happened, I think, to most of our students. I don't know, that they just forgetting about putting any kind of financial projection, to their presentations. So it's quite. So I was just wondering, where is the problem? As we have lots of good professors. But sometimes, that knowledge is somehow missing, that they should put some project in. So how much they need to start?
Maybe they think that the VC guys will tell them, oh, so you're really looking for $1 million. No, they will not tell you.
Well, actually, what I was thinking also that we need to have that, and this is like the experience, my experience from outside the SGH. Once when I was belonging to one of the angel network, business angel network, and we are doing the kind of the pitching sessions, yeah, and. We had that comparison to the students, for example, from UK or from United States, and to the one from CE region. I would say not to putting the Poland in, but CE region, okay? Not to mention. And there is, a huge difference between students from UK, United States, and from CE region in the way they are talking about their future business and how they put their idea into numbers, and that they are actually prepared how to answer all those, tricky questions that most of investors are asking during such meetings. Okay. And this is, idea that we really need to change it. If you want to really have, the second Silicon Valley or whatever, the most of the unicorns that we all looking for, we need to prepare our, younger generation to start. If they forgetting to put in the how much they need to start the business, there is something wrong in our education. That's what I say,
On my end, there's no such thing as a universal mistake, because if you will compare pitch decks between countries, between the stage of growth, etc., they tend to differ a lot. But I will give you something that might be interesting, a little sneak peek, because as a fund, and I'm saying it for the first time officially, we are actually conducting a research during which we will analyze the approach toward pitch decks from the VC side and from the startup side. So during it, we would like to see what are the differences between the whole approach towards the creation, towards the content, etc., and it will be published, I think, in the middle of December. And the main goal is to see how investors treat the particular parts of it at which they perceive as the most important, and how it differs from the startup side. And we are actually talking with a great number of VCs and a great number of startups. So if you would like to receive really up-to-date knowledge regarding this matter, the report will be interesting for you. Now, from my personal standpoint, I agree with Maciek. There is no innovation in pitch deck. The template that Sequoia made is it's perfect, because it's the I think the golden middle between the needs of an investor and the number of things that a startup would like to tell, because startups have the tendency to overcomplicate and to prepare pitch decks consisting of so many things that an analyst is really cracking the nut to see the gist inside it. So on my end, it's important to stay consistent, to keep the document brief, and to really answer all the basic questions that Maciek told us about, because it's really telling the whole story behind business. So the problem, the solution, the market, etc., etc. This is the thing that allows you to see if the problem could be solved with this particular company and this particular team. But to be honest, in the web, you can find really dozens of great examples of pitch decks, of some kind of guides how to approach it. It's important to go through it because before you will send it to a VC, because in most cases it's just a one shot to receive the funding, and if you will blow it, you can only blame yourself.
All right, thank you so much. Through your answers, you guys already answered the 3 or 4 questions I've planned. But that's okay. But no worries. That's okay. So I've received this question from someone from our audience. The question is it a turn off if a business plan valuation section is not 100% accurate? Or do investors care more about the overall scalability of the business and the valuation can be fixed later on? So I'm guessing that, Shimon, you would be the best person to answer this question. Would you like to take it?
Yeah, sure. I would say it depends because the scalability in venture capital market is the foundation. Because remember that if VC is going to earn any money, it needs to scale up the company a number of times because it needs to give the basic funds that LP invested back and then share the profit with them. Needs to be a few 100% per year to be interesting from a VC standpoint. And when it comes to scaling it, the business needs to address the universal needs. So it's really tough to find such a business that is ready to scale up, working on just one domestic market. So from scratch, you need to have a plan how to expand it and how to build a nationwide business. Of course, it is important that it's a VC approach. So if you're doing your own business and you're seeking funds in different sources like friends and family, like loans, like public aid, etc., it's completely different. But in terms of VC, one thing that matters is that you need to show how do you will earn money, because it sounds really simple, but nowadays entrepreneurship or startups are becoming a culture, and sometimes people want to fit in, and they somehow forget that it's all about earning money. So you need to find a good way how to address the needs of your potential customers, and just do it and show that you can scale it on some bigger number of first people, then cities and countries, etc., etc.
All right, thank you. So yes, guys, if let's say you have questions, please send us, write it in the comment section, and we have the answers provided live for you. There is one more question from Rawan Osman. The question is it important to look for investors if you are in the beginning stage of your business, dealing with potential customers and international companies, or looking for investors when you are already doing well at the early stage of your business and having some potential customers. In this case, the potential customers cannot have access easily to reach out to international companies to get their demanded products. Yes, I think that is what Osman wrote. So I'm guessing they're asking, Osman is trying to ask, when exactly is the best time to look for investors, whether or not it's the beginning, right at the beginning stage, or whether or not you are already like doing pretty well.
If I may start,
Yes,
I would suggest first of all, it's better to ask and find yourself the mentor. And mentor will guide you, because it's really depends on the structure of the business. It's really depend on the idea, and I wouldn't say totally if the beginning or somehow after. If you have any doubts or any questions, there's a lot of right now the network of different mentors. In SGH we have a few networks of mentors. At Women's Perspective, we have like thousands of networks of mentors, and I will start from it just to get the knowledge what should be actually done and what the further step should be taken, or also to start kind of the business network at the same time. If you don't want to have any mentor, you need to start asking open questions, to the people, in the kind of the conferences or like the experts meeting or this kind of different conferences. Then you will find the answer. That could be the one way, yeah. And obviously, if after such research, you will have that answer, and actually you will be able to answer yourself. Okay, as many young people, I would say don't be like Tesla. Okay, that the guy just stopped, at his dreams, what they were doing at that time. And I'm finding many young people, states that they have, a lot of different dreams and good ideas, but they still don't, even they don't have this power to even start, or after starting and setting up, any kind of good business or even startup, they don't have the power to scale it. As Szymon said, at the beginning, if you don't go for the money to the VC, you probably don't think about scaling up your business. But this is like the most difficult thing, when you're running your own businesses, how you scale it up, at the certain time, and how not to miss the opportunity to scale up your business. I would say that, 15 years ago, 20, that I was starting my first business, I didn't have that knowledge at that time, how to scale it up. And, for me, that was, the missed opportunity to go further. After 20 years, I can say, oh, now I know. But I should have known it like 20 years ago. I should have at that time, all those mentors network that you guys having right now, and to have such webinars, like sharing different experience, just to tell me, at that time, 20 years ago, I have a lot of, ideas at that time. I went to United States. I was a student. I spent there, a year. I came back for this dark Poland, and I said, wow, now I will change, the world. But I didn't have any bank. I didn't have any mentor. I didn't, have at that time rich family, to borrow some money. And I didn't have, rich friends. So growing at that time, the family was pretty hard, I would say. Yeah. So, yeah, that's from my side.
I think there is no good answer for that questions, because you need to consider really a number of different factors. For instance, if you're setting a company in medical sector, the amount of money that you need before you will start earning, it's uncomparable to, let's say, a SaaS company. So one thing that you need to take into account is that how fast can you generate profit. Next thing is that you need to remember that later you will ask for investors, the better valuation you will get. Of course, if you will assume that you will grow, because the biggest difference between those two scenarios is that on the very beginning, you need to seek for investors. And if you are successful, investors are seeking for you. And this is the huge difference. I personally prefer businesses that are for some time bootstrapped, because it means that they can live without the aid of investors. Unfortunately, there are some pathologies on this market, the so-called serial entrepreneurs, but in the negative sense of that. So people who are constantly seeking for new investors, because without it the company will instantly crash. And I think the more important case is that to know from the very beginning how to earn money from the customers, because if you will ask a question, what's the best source of capital? The answer is one: customers, and you need to remember it. And investor is a specific form of capital, because if you are talking about a good VC, you're not just seeking for the capital. You're seeking for a combination of capital and knowledge. Because if you are cooperating with a person that has at least a decade of experience in investments, co-founded a number of companies, invested in a dozen or so companies, the perspective is completely different. So if you will seek for such help, it will boost your company. It will allow you to grow faster. But personally, I know number of companies which didn't decide at all to seek for an investor, or decided to do it on a late stage. And it was a really great decision from their business standpoint. So you need to always think about your surroundings, your potential to raise capital from friends and family, from loans, from your savings, etc., etc. And then after a quick start, if you will see that the company is going on the right direction, then try to seek for investor. It will definitely be better for the company.
Okay, thank you, and hope that answers your question. So let us go back to our webinar topic on business plan. I have this question prepared. So all three of you represent a different perspective, and that's why like this webinar is so great. I want to ask, from your perspective, out of the components of, be it a pitch deck or a business plan, which component do you focus the most, or which component do you think is the most value adding to the person reading it? So I would like to get all three perspectives on this matter. Maciej?
Yeah, so I think I answered this partly before. The team, who would you like to have on your team? Because VCs are into the people, not about numbers and your ideas. Everyone has the greatest ideas ever. But you need to execute, and you need to execute with right people. Second of all, business model. How would you like to get money out of your business? Because you're not creating business just to have a business. You need to have money sooner or later. And as much as I do not agree with Szymon that 99% of nowadays business are into fast grow. And they need to grow faster than anyone else. Even if they are cash positive in some way, they need additional money. And only in this case, the biggest companies would be built. But so business model and your financials, because this is when Excel can take anything. This is also the well-known saying that Excel can take anything. I remember when I was creating my first P&L like 14 years ago, I was like, oh my God, in 3 months I'll be millionaire. But of course, later I realized that always what I said on my first webinar, always multiply your costs 4 times and divide your revenues even 10 times, and this is really good rule, and those things are the most important, because when you get to know all the metrics, all the plans, and also how fast can you grow, how much money in the next rounds can you get to get your business bigger and bigger. You're not doing your business just to I will not say that. You just need to grow. You just need to grow fast, and you just need to scale fast. This is what you're doing nowadays with the technology business. And so for this, you need the 2 most important part: financials and business model. And for the VC, the most important part is team. So just prepare yourself. Do not take your best friends because you are talking about girls and everything else, and you think that it will be good to have him on board. It was my first mistakes in my first business. You just need to complete yourself with your knowledge, with expertise, and also to show the investors that you are good in those fields. Your business partner really good in those fields, and you are looking for this in these team members. And also, it's great even in the first pitch deck and the first seed round that you already have some research about the people who would like to approach to your team. This shows to VC that you already prepare yourself, and when you got the money for the salaries for those people, you will get them quite fast from the market, because they will help you with this field, and that field. You just need to have this under control even before you raise any money.
If I may add to what Maciej said, one more thing that from my perspective is also really important, and for goodness, most of the ventures also are looking for that, and we call them impact accelerators or impact ventures. We cannot forget about the impact that our company can get on our life, on ecology, on different parts of our lives. As actually more and more customers, we look at the as Szymon said, that the best capital is our customers. All of them going to look at our companies if we are making the good and positive impact, to the environment, to the people life. And it's not only, I know, Maciej, that maybe like in the old times we always thinking and seeing that the company is only about the money. But nowadays, more and more people are believing in that idea that it's not only making, bigger money. That's probably, I wouldn't say, in any percentage, but more and more people are thinking in such way, that the impact is also problem, solution, and the impact. And that's what actually like different hackathons that we actually recently got some experience with few people from our audience and not only. We also need to think of that different accelerators or different ventures are also looking for those businesses that also can have some impact, especially right now after pandemic. I think that this trend would even be greater, that all those consequences, these negative consequences for all societies, for disparities between north and south, and between rich and poor, we will have such consequences that we all need to think about solidarity and about the values that really need to be as universal as never ever before. And we need to start that discussion. And I know that in many conferences which are online right now, we start that discussion. What is actually our solidarity? In the future, about the future of work, and we're gonna look for the companies which will actually address that. Not only we're gonna look for those which actually accelerate and grow the profit. That's what I think and how I see it.
Okay. Getting back to the pitch deck, I perceive it as communicating vessel systems. So it means that there is no part that you can cut off. Because if you will have a great idea, with team that won't be able to execute it, it won't work. If you have a great idea but you don't have a go-to-market strategy, it won't work. The same with financials, the same with every other aspect. So keeping in mind that it's a really short document that you should find only essentials in there. I perceive it always as a whole. I agree with Maciej that people are most important, because every startup which is growing has to iterate, because the business model changes over time. Pivots are something normal, and you can't predict the future in so unstable conditions. So every time that you are preparing a pitch deck, everything needs to run like a Swiss clock, because one thing accelerates the another.
I love the analogy that, it has to be smooth and every single component is very important. And I believe that, like what Dr. Anna said, impact investing, if you can have a portion about that, showing how you can help other groups, other stakeholders, I think that is marvelous. I think that's something that startups should look into, that aspect. I feel very heartwarmed because it's something that I really relate to. So I guess right now the time is 8:29, and I believe that even though we kind of only answered a few questions, but within these answers there are a lot of intricate details. We shared a lot about expectations. We shared a lot about different perspective, mindset, and I think that definitely if let's say the audience on Facebook Live, if you guys have questions that you could not manage to type in fast enough, please still do leave a comment in our video, and if possible we would direct the questions to our speakers who would possibly answer your question on your behalf. Yes, Maciej.
Yeah, I just want to mention that during our session I managed to attach those 3 pitch decks I was talking about in the comments. So if you're not having your comments open through the webinar, you find it over there. Sequoia
Definitely.
And Revolut. This is actually one of the best things you can get. Besides what we've been talking about, this is the real thing. Yeah.
Okay, definitely. So I will, SGH Ventures, we will try to attach that document somehow and share it with our audience. So be sure to keep in touch.
I already attached it in comments.
Okay. In the Facebook comments?
Yes, you can just easily download. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
One of our smart hotel system, you can download it for free, easily from the comments.
Smooth advertisement. I see what you did there. All right. So
awesome.
Yes, thank you so much on behalf of everybody who tuned in. Just like to say that we really appreciate your presence, our 3 very beloved speakers. Thanks so much for sharing your insights, and definitely we hope to keep in touch for future webinars and for workshops if possible. Yeah. So with that, we come to the end of our webinar. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, and we will see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.